King.
I think this is such a good day. Number one, Harry and Meghan had the baby. It's a boy. I was so excited about that, even though I was in the UK this past week, and of course they have it today. Not that she would have done an interview. Then, this morning we announced big changes on CBS this morning. Win, win, win for everybody. You'll hear about that later. Then, I get to introduce Norah today at the Matrix. So, with every red carpet today, everybody said to me, "What's going on with you and Norah? Is it true what they're saying?" No, it's not. So I thought somebody said this to me, the friction between Norah and Gayle is fiction. And that's true. Norah, you know who said that? A cameraman, Tony Plains, said that, which I thought was really great. The crew guys know everything. So all of this happened before noon, so I couldn't wait to come skipping up to the podium to do this today. Let me just start with this. Everybody has a definition of success. Everybody does. For me, it's always involved marriage to a man I adore, who adores me right back, happy and terrific kids, and a job where I'm respected for being a total badass. Sound like anybody you know? It does to me. I'll give you a hint, she's sitting right over there. And while some of you know her as the marvelous Mrs. Tracy, the entire country knows her as Norah O'Donnell. So what can I say about a woman who plays 2 hours of tennis, true story, in excruciating pain before taking a break to go and have her appendix removed? I guess the first thing I can say is that Norah is unable to tell the difference between appendicitis and a little gas, which is what she told me she thought was happening, and this was on vacation. Jeff was the one that said, you know, she played 2 hours of tennis while she was in pain. Norah's New Year's resolution was to work out every single day, no matter what. So I was certainly afraid to ask her if she stuck to that goal, even while she was recovering from surgery, because I was pretty sure she would have looked at me like I was crazy and answered, of course I did. Before we go on the air, it's not uncommon to see Norah over there lifting weights before we go on the air. You know, the Army used to have a slogan that says, "We get done by 9 a.m. more than most people do all day." And I think that pretty much sums up Norah's entire life. Not only is this woman running 2 households in 2 different cities, she's got 3 kids, if you just heard her mention, each with school stuff, after school stuff, plays, sports, they do all of that. Picture all of that and then throw a dog in the mix too. The dog's name is Oliver, but he goes by Ollie. It's very cute. Doesn't it make you just want to lay down? Not Norah. Home is the thing that energizes her, I know this. Family gives her strength. She needs to travel to places that most of us can only dream about, and then bring back all the stories that we need to know about. Like the very best journalist on the planet, Norah connects us to the rest of the world. She has interviewed 6 of the last 7 presidents. She's reported from hurricanes, mass shootings, the Boston Marathon bombing, the Newtown massacre, the Pentagon on 9/11, and every continent on the planet except Antarctica, but the night is still young, because that is on her to-do list. Did you happen to see Norah in South Korea for the very first major interview an American journalist had ever done with President Moon? We did. Or maybe you watched her in Helsinki covering Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin at the summit. Did you catch her at the Vatican when the smoke signaled that the new pope would be Francis? By the way, when he came to the States, Norah got a blessing from the Pope. Thank you very much. What about when Norah spent a week reporting in Saudi Arabia, where she interviewed Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman? She worked on that for over a year or 2. The conversation was his first and only American television interview, and he gave it to Norah O'Donnell. And I know that if you didn't happen to see it when it was live on the air, you had to have seen one of the thousands of clips that we aired of Norah asking Paul Manafort to confirm that candidate Trump had no financial relationship with any of the Russian oligarchs. He looked her straight in the eye and calmly said, "Humana, humana, humana, humana." We were cracking up in the studio over that. And Norah just held her face straight and re-asked another question. Thanks to her years spent reporting from the Pentagon, the Congress, and the White House, she has cultivated some of the finest sources out there. And it really is not unusual for her to get a call, get information that nobody has, Better yet, break it before the competition while we're on the set. I so love when that happens. My 3 favorite words are, only on CBS. Norah and I are together in the makeup room every single morning, and I asked her the other day, can you just give me an example of your crazy schedule, because nobody would believe it. She said, I honestly can't think of anything because it's all a blur, which, by the way, is the only possible answer to a question that you get posed at 5 a.m. So she reached out to one of her producers, Lauren Gallipo. I did too. I called Lauren too, in California. She works there now. And she gave me a typical example, which I think speaks volumes. How is this for a random 48 hours on Norah's schedule? Interviewed 2 of the world's biggest athletes in a span of 20 hours. This is Lauren speaking. We did the show in New York Monday, then flew to Boston to interview Tom Brady for CBS Sunday Morning. Norah loves her some Tom Brady, and she threw the ball with Tom Brady. On her way back to the city on the last flight out at 8 p.m., we were diverted to D.C. for what the White House agreed would be an interview the following morning with the Vice President, an exclusive. When we landed at 11:30 at night, the White House had pulled out. So we woke up the next morning, flew back to the city, first thing to make our prior commitment to interview golfer Rory McIlroy at Yankee Stadium. Norah is a very good golfer too, by the way. Wednesday after the show, we drove upstate to do a 4-hour shoot with Governor Andrew Cuomo for a piece on the new Tappan Zee Bridge. She and the governor, of course, went up to the top, because that's what you do. I would have been right there on the ground saying, Governor, how does this work? Then later, just for grins, she climbed to the Brooklyn Bridge for another piece. This is funny, because she couldn't find a crew that wanted to shoot it, because nobody wanted to do that. So we have one guy on staff who's a military guy. He goes, oh, I'll do it, no problem. He agrees to go up there. And then he ends up regretting it, and Norah's up there going, what's taking so long? It's only 277 feet in the air, I remember that, with these 2 little harnesses. That's Norah O'Donnell. I even said, is your family watching you do this? Is your mom watching you? Your kids watching you? There are many days and nights like that, and because of Norah's incredible journalistic skill, dedication, and work ethic, there are going to be so many more of that, I have no doubt. But Norah's loss of sleep is certainly our gain, and I know she wouldn't have it any other way. I also know that she doesn't do this job for awards. None of us do, but I'm happy to tell you that her work has definitely been recognized. I'll just name a couple of things, because it would be like this if I did the whole thing, and I won't do that. She's a recipient of 2 Emmys. She was named Best National News On-Air Talent for the year 2016-2018. She's gotten the Edward R. Murrow Award for Best Newscast of 2017, and was named Broadcaster of the Year by the New York State Broadcasters Association. But as impressive as all that is, and it is, and dare I say fun, Norah has the most fun hanging out with her family. They are here today. I can tell you firsthand that she and Jeff, who is hilarious, are true partners and very proud parents to 11-year-old twins. Henry, please stand up. Henry recently won a golf championship, I heard. Grace, please stand up. She's star of the school play. She also spoke at the United Nations. Thank you, Grace. And then there's Riley. She's 10, and she's a champion diver. Let's just say Norah and Jeff will not be bribing anyone to get those kids into school. Is it too soon? Her kids are fantastic. They are smart. They are kind. They are mischievous. And based on all the pictures and videos that I've seen, they are a really, really great time. They are so much fun. Norah gets it done on a daily basis, the big things and the little things. And she does it all with clarity, candor, style, finesse, tremendous intelligence. This woman is a force of nature. And I can assure you this, there is nobody that's better to have in the chair next to you on the set, at a Bruno Mars concert, we went to Bono too, at dinner, and yes, in the makeup room with all of our natural beauty before I get all spackled up. Norah comes in looking like a gazillion bucks at 5 o'clock in the morning. Nobody better than Jeff's wife, Riley, Henry, and Grace's mom, Dr. and Mrs. Tracy's daughter, and as just announced this morning, the next anchor and managing editor, only 3 women have done it singly, managing editor of the CBS Evening News, Norah Morahan O'Donnell. Norah, please come on up.
Hey, look, Ma, I made it. Thank you. Thank you, Gayle. And let me say, we do see each other at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I just want you to know I actually look more like Keith Richards at 5 o'clock in the morning. And Brandy and Cheryl are here who make me look like this every day. Good hair and good makeup is key. Thank you, Gayle. Thank you. I know that you already have Oprah, but thank you for being my work BFF, always. I'm so humbled. I'm honored to have worked with Gayle for 7 years, doing what I love with someone who loves it as much as I do. I saw this quote on Instagram. You may have seen me post it, and it said, "Stay close to people who feel like sunshine." Well, Gayle is pure sunshine. That's why she's the first person we all love to see first thing in the morning. Do you know Gayle greets every single guest who enters our studio with a hug? Think about that. She's the one I call when I need advice or a good pep talk. So here's my first simple piece of advice for you. Find yourself a Gayle. Find yourself that woman who you call when you're feeling down and she says, "Norah, do you have a bathroom in your house? Do you have a mirror? I want you to go put on a blue shirt because it makes your eyes shine really blue, and I want you to stand in front of that mirror and I want you to slap yourself. I want you to slap yourself and say, 'I'm effing Norah O'Donnell.' I'm sorry, I'm Norah effing O'Donnell." She's just not my work BFF, she's also my therapist. Thank you, Gayle, for that. And it's free. As I was writing this speech, I realized that everything I have accomplished was because of the people I work with, my CBS family. There's a reason that CBS is known as the Tiffany Network. It is the place full of the best and the brightest. And there is no question that I owe my career to the high standards set by my colleagues every day. You know, people talk about, well, at work I stand on the shoulders of other people. You know what happens at CBS? It'd be more fitting to say our colleagues carry us on their backs. And that's especially meaningful to me because CBS is the only place I've ever wanted to be. I grew up on the news. I'm an Army brat. My family moved around Germany, South Korea, and San Antonio, Texas. You know what the one constant was? The news. My mom always told me I had big dreams. And if that's true, I know where they started. We had 2 traditions in my house, church and 60 Minutes. Who else watches 60 Minutes? And so for me, you know what television was? Television, and specifically journalism, it was my window to the world. It was the place where my dreams began. I remember I was young, and my parents had this bench at the end of their bed, and I'd pull it out, and I'd sit on the floor, and I'd put my snack or my dinner on top of it while I watched TV. My parents are here today, and I was telling them this. We were talking about this story last night, and I said, "Mom, remember I used to sit on that thing?" And my mom said, "Oh yeah, we still have that bench." And my dad said, "Yeah, and we still just have one TV in the house." And so here's my other piece of advice. Mom, Dad, it's time to get some new furniture. But it wasn't just the news that I watched on TV that inspired me. It was the voices that I came to know and admire, the women in journalism. It was legends like Barbara Walters and Oprah Winfrey. It was every woman reporter I followed on the local stations and the new places where I moved to. Watching them, these powerful women, those were really some of the most powerful women I knew. And that led to this and solidified this deep aspiration in me. They all defined who I wanted to become. And I feel especially grateful to be realizing that dream today under the leadership of Susan Zirinsky, our president at CBS, who embodies not only the qualities of journalism, but the leadership that all of us want to become. And receiving this award is a great honor. I'm truly humbled to find myself among the most powerful and influential people in media and communications. I hope you saw Gayle and I writing notes about everything you said, these wonderful pearls of wisdom. They'll be published in Gayle King's next book. Now, but I think you all know this organization is so extremely important to me and to all the young women out there that dream of becoming a journalist, of telling the truth, of enlightening people and connecting them to the issues that matter most. Walter Cronkite, one of CBS's greatest greats and the most trusted man in America, said that journalism is what is needed to make democracy work. And I believe that with my whole heart. I learned that from Bob Schieffer, the man I met in the Washington Bureau, who is here today as well, another legend at CBS News, who embodies that. And journalism is under attack. Civility is under attack. Truth is under attack. We can fix that. We have to fix that. Journalism plays a more vital role in our country today than maybe it ever has in our history. And Cronkite was right, but it wasn't just his idea. That idea originated with our founders. They enshrined the role of a free press within the Constitution. They believed that it was so important, they made it the very First Amendment. It was not the 11th Amendment, it was the First Amendment. And it was James Madison who, remember, took that a step further, saying that the press preserve the right of freely examining public character. That is the heart of what makes this country so great. I hope that all of us continue to inspire young women, like my two girls who are here today, Grace and Riley, to take up this calling, a calling about journalism and a calling about truth-telling. And I hope there are girls out there who watch what all of us in this room do and dream of the role that they will play in our noble profession, in this very patriotic and necessary profession. It's on all of us to continue doing great work and to build relationships that ensure great work continues. And I'll just end with just saying this. I firmly believe that the quality of your life is built on the quality of your relationships. So my last piece of advice is encourage everyone in this room, invest in the success of others. It's on us to carry the next generation of outstanding journalists and women journalists and women in communication, carry them on our backs. For this distinction, I am truly grateful. Thank you.